Hey everyone, Bandit here. Welcome to the Bandit Flight Simmer channel, and today we're back on our Around the World series in the Diamond DA62. We're in Ashgabat here in Turkmenistan, and we're heading further east. Hopefully today ending up in northern Pakistan, although we do have some major flight planning issues to deal with today. So we got a long way to go. The weather's good today. We need to get airborne and get up on our way. I already started up on the runway, ready to take off. So I'm just going to get in the air here, and once we get leveled off, I'll talk about our plan for today and what we're going to try and do. Okay, so just do a quick pre-takeoff check here. So we can turn our pumps on, and pitot heat is on. I got the runway heading set. We're going to go initially 10,000 feet for now, and flaps are at takeoff. And everything looks good, so we'll release our parking brake. We'll go full power. And temperatures and pressures are looking good. It's a hot day here, so we're not quite getting 100%, so I think that's all we're going to get. It's about 96, it's 33 degrees here. And there we go, 80 knots, we'll rotate. Positive rate, gears up. And just coming up to 100 knots there, up at the flaps up. And it's clear to the left. So I'll just make a left turn to intercept our outbound track. Okay, we got a good little intercept heading on there. And we'll do a post takeoff check. So gear is up, flaps are up. Shut our pumps off. Set my climb power at 95%. And landing light is on. I can probably shut that off. And it looks like we're on track, so I'm going to go autopilot, flight director. We'll go flight level change, climb at 100 knots. And I'll select nav. So yeah, gears up, flaps are up, pumps are off, landing lights off. We're on our autopilot with GPS tracking and flight level change, climbing at 100 knots, and power is set. T's and P's are all good. So post takeoff check is good. I think we'll initially climb up to, so I'll request with center here up to flight level 190, because we got pretty high terrain coming up down the road, and I want to get as high as possible so we get a good use of tailwind, hopefully, and some lower fuel burn. So I dialed up to 190 and just center my heading bug up. So I got a long climb here. It's going to take a little while, so I'm going to continue this climb, and we'll level off at 190, and then we'll assess how we're looking for ground speed and see how things are going. So I'll check in with you at the top of climb, and then we'll go over our plan for today's flight. Okay, so we're leveled off at flight level 190, heading eastbound, and got a nice little push there, 37 knots. Set the power back at 75%. Because we got a long way to go, so the fuel burn's critical here, and that's why I wanted to get airborne as quickly as possible, so we don't waste a lot of gas. And yeah, so anyway, weather is clear in a million, which is really what we need for today's trip. Even though we're IFR right now, or an instrument flight plan, but we are going to have to go VFR eventually, and so we need really good weather to facilitate that down the road. So hopefully it stays like that. Today's plan, well, it's a little unorthodox, and I kind of had a feeling I'd run into this situation eventually, but right now we are just north of Afghanistan, and obviously if you read safety reports, they don't recommend flying over Afghanistan, especially if you're in an aircraft like us that could fly above 20,000 feet because of threat from surface-to-air missiles and stuff like that. So that is still a threat going on there. So we have to traverse around Afghanistan into northern Pakistan. So I'll show you quickly on the chart here. So basically this is Turkmenistan up here, and different regions of the country that we're passing through now. And Afghanistan is down here, so we kind of have to transit north of Afghanistan, and it runs right through here. And then we're not going to follow this green line because I have no fixes to input in the map here for that. So we're actually going to continue down here and then make a turn southeastbound, hopefully to get into northern Pakistan here. You can see the terrain here is really high, so we need definitely good weather. And at this point here, this VOR, we're going to have to decide if we can continue on. Problem is that we don't have any weather reporting other than the area forecast, which shows clear skies, so hopefully that stays the same. And then we have to continue VFR down to this area here, and there's no instrument approaches or anything for these airports that we're trying to get into. So like I said, it's basically flying by the seat of your pants kind of day, and the plan is variable. So once we get a little further along, about maybe 3 hours into the flight, we'll hopefully get to about this point here, and then we'll make a decision whether or not we can continue on. I do have a couple options, so we can go up here a little further, and then I do have some turn back options that we can keep an eye on to go back in this direction. So that's the plan right now. So not the greatest plans, I know, but that's the situations you have to deal with. We have limited weather reporting. We have very limited approach facilities available for these airports, and very high terrain to deal with. So we need good weather, and so hopefully that's how it's going to play out today. So I've got those waypoints plugged in here on my map, and you can see here that kind of following this route, and then we get into this high terrain area here. Now once we get to this point here, when we turn southeast, it's kind of lower terrain here, and we can kind of follow some valleys that go down here if we need to get down lower. The safe altitudes for that area is like 28,000 feet, and we can't go above 20, so we definitely need VFR weather to keep continuing on past this point here. So we'll see how that works out when we get a little further down route. For those of you who watched my last video, I'm using the Class Echo device for the autopilot and navigation features, and obviously using the GTN 750, which I've used before. I really like this still. I'm still using it for now, but it's now we got to pay for it. So I haven't decided yet if I'm going to maybe pay for a year's worth of it, but I also looked at the working title updates coming down the road, and they have some awesome updates for the G1000 suite. And so since the Class Echo controls the G1000 very effectively, I think I might just hold out for that. So anyway, I'll still use this for now. I really like this input touchscreen. It's really handy, so I'll keep using it for now, but I think my subscription for the free version of it runs out at the end of June, so So I got a little bit of time still to play with it, and we'll see what working title comes out with the G1000 before that. So anyway, we got a long flight ahead of us. Weather is good. We got good ground speed and 224 knots, so that's perfect because we need lots of gas today. And so I'll check in with you as we get closer to our decision point there and see how things are going. So I'll see you in a few hours. Okay, we're past the halfway point of the flight here, and we're just coming up to where I'm going to have to turn back if I don't want to continue on any further. Still getting a good push here. Ground speed is still 221. Got about 30 knots on the tail, and with the mountainous terrain, it's a little bit bumpy. There is some cloud up to the north here at our level, but we're kind of heading this direction and then off to the right, so still looks like good weather in that direction. You can see the mountainous terrain off in the distance, and that's what our biggest concern is today. So the weather's holding out. We're transferring our fuel right now, and it looks pretty good. So still got lots of gas. And so basically on the map here, this airport here, I don't have any information on other than it's got a long enough runway and its elevation. So it's very limited info. So it's at 11,987 feet elevation, and the runway is 8,000 feet long. So that's good for us if we need to go there, and that'll be our decision point. And we can actually get fairly close to this airport with and still have the option to turn back. I know this airport here has an instrument approach, and we're over it right now. We're beam it right now, and we know the weather is good, and it has a good forecast as well. So we could actually get most of the way to this airport here, this UT44. Which is still in Turkmenistan, and we can probably get almost there and still turn around and come back to here. So if we got there and some reason the weather wasn't very good, or we couldn't get stay VFR, we could turn back and recover here. So that's the plan right now, is to continue on and make our final decision as we approach here if we're going to continue on. So when we get a little closer here, we could probably cut the corner, and then we're going to try to pick up, there's a valley that runs down this area right here, so we can kind of just avoid the really high terrain and do that. And what we're going to use to help us with the terrain mapping is we'll go back to terrain on here, and you can see at this altitude I can't go any further, but you can see there's lots of red up here, so we'll just stay clear of that on our track, but that's what we're going to use to help us with the terrain coming in and picking a good route to go. So that's how it's looking right now. Pretty good. Hopefully the weather holds out. I think we'll be okay. So I'll check in with you as we get closer to making the turn up here, and at that point we'll decide if we're going to turn around and go back to this airport or continue on to our destination. And our destination's in northern Pakistan. It's called Skardu, and it's a civilian airport, and it's high elevation as well, like around 11,000 feet, and it's got about an 8,000 foot runway. So that's good. The only problem is they don't have any weather or anything there for us. I can't find anything anyway on the internet, so other than a forecast, and right now the civilian forecast looks okay. So we got our fuel transferred, so I'm just going to cancel that, and you can see if I zoom in on our PFD here, the left aux and the right aux fuel are empty, and so I will go down to my aux fuel and shut those pumps off, and there we go. And we are currently back up our fuel is total of 46 gallons, and we got 3 hours 15 minutes endurance. I'd say we got about 2 hours to go, so should be good with the gas there, I think. And now we're just going to keep an eye on the terrain ahead of us there. So okay, so I'll check back in with you a little further down route here as we get closer to making that turn southeast. See you in a bit. Okay, everyone, we're still cruising along here over the mountain ranges and cut the corner a little bit here. We've got lots of gas still. We can easily divert to this airport if we need to. It's not very far in that direction there. Over in this area here, you can see the mountains are pretty high here. Those ones to the right of us are about 25,000 feet, and we're at 19,000 feet. So you can see on the terrain map here that we're going to snake in. There's a valley that goes down through here, so that's going to be our VFR route coming into Skardu there. And yeah, it's a pretty precarious flight right now. You know, we don't have a lot of options. This is probably worse than flying over water. If we have an engine failure right here, we'll probably be lucky if we can maintain 13,000 feet. So that's not very good right now. Our only option is we're flying. There's a valley that runs down here, and we could pick up that valley and follow it till we got to the first airport we could land at. And I'll just go to an outside view here, and you can see these valleys here underneath us. So there's actually a road that runs up this valley here that way, and then we can run down this valley down here and up through here. So those are the escape routes you kind of want to be always looking at in case you did have an engine problem, because you're not going to be able to maintain this altitude. So it's actually a road that runs down through here, believe it or not. And yeah, so anyway, that's the plan right now. Everything is looking pretty good. The weather is holding out. Just had some cloud up to the north there, just a little bit of cirrus cloud, but nothing significant. So anyway, so when we get a little closer to here, start our descent. We don't have far to descend. We go to this airport here, and go back. Oh, I need to get into the map mode here. So if we go to this airport here and we look up the info, and it has a runway 8,000 feet, 3315. I think there's 2 runways there actually. So and yeah, they're almost parallel runways. The other one's 11,000 feet. So either way, so we're probably going to be, I think the winds are probably going to be favoring for 33, so that's probably the runway we'll use. And yeah, so that's and the airport elevation, if we go back to the info here, is 8,000 feet. So that's the plan right now. And like I said, we still have the option to just do a quick turn back to this airport if we need to in the short term, but I think we got less than an hour to go to get to our destination. So I think we should be okay. Or actually, we got just over a little bit more than an hour to go. So okay, so I'll check in with you as we get close to the top of descent, and we'll see what our route looks like coming into Skardu. I'll see you again in a little bit. Okay, everyone, I think we have the airport in sight. You can just see it off there. We've just been following this valley down to where the airport's located. So I think I'm going to disengage the autopilot and start my descent. We're only 15 miles away, and we got to lose quite a bit of altitude here. So prevailing winds are behind us right now, so I think I'm going to just joined downwind, so everything looks good. We still have lots of gas, so we're good to go, I think. So I'm not sure how we would get the local altimeter here, but hopefully there would be a radio frequency we could talk to somebody on and get that information. So I'm just going to use whatever Microsoft Flight Sim has default here. So if you just hit the B key, it will give you the local nearest altimeter setting. So that'll help us out a bit. Might as well go for the big runway. You can see there's two runways there. This is the larger one and the smaller one. So pretty high terrain around here. Looks like it's a lake on the map here, but looks more like just like a river visually. You zoom in, kind of looks like it was supposed to be a lake here, but maybe that is just partly frozen over lake right there. Not sure. Just going to cancel this gear warning. So the elevation, the airfield is about 8,000 feet, so we still got a lot of altitude to lose here. Actually, I think I'll just go for the shorter runway. It looks closer to where the ramp is, so it's still 8,000 feet. That's still lots for us. So I don't know what kind of a town they have here, how big it is, but you can see it's got a ramp area just off to the right, so that's probably where we'll end up parking. Still snow on the ground here. I'm assuming this would be an uncontrolled airport, so we would just make broadcasts that we're joining downwind for runway 32, I believe it is. So we'll turn our boost pumps on, turn our landing light on. And we'll go down to about 9,000 feet. We'll level off, and then we'll just join our circuit there. Okay, let's speed bleed off. And just remember, it's going to be a longer landing distance at this altitude. A lot less performance. You'll see when we take off out of here next flight. Be lucky if we get 90% power. Although this turbocharged engine's pretty good, so. Okay, base leg. Speed's coming back nicely. Get the landing gear and the first notch of flap. So runway there. A little bit high, lots of runway though. And speed's good. We'll get the last notch of flap, and gear is down. Flaps are at landing. Boost pumps are on. Landing lights on. And just make the call for final. Speed's good. Just a little bit of a crosswind. There we go. A little bit firm, but it's a pretty beefy landing gear. No trouble getting stopped. And we'll make a left turn exit here. Wow, the scenery is amazing. These in the Himalayan mountains of northern Pakistan. It's quite a good sized airport for the middle of nowhere. So we'll get our flaps up. Turn our landing light off. Get our strobe light off. Set our parking brake. And there we go. Engine's cooled down, so we turn our pitot heat off. And that looks good, so we'll hit the igniters off. And get the engine shut down. And welcome to Skardu, Pakistan. Well, that was quite an interesting trip. Let's just hop outside and take a look at some of the amazing scenery. Wow. Amazing mountains. I've never seen anything. I've never been in this part of the world, so the highest I've seen are the Alps in Europe and the Rocky Mountains in North America. It's incredible. We're at 8,000 feet and these mountains still tower above us. Well, that was a really interesting trip. So lots of challenges today. And the next trip's going to be just as challenging. We have to get out of here, so we pretty much need the weather we have here, which is clear skies. There's no instrument procedures to get out of here. There's initial part of the route until we get further south in Pakistan is not going to have any instrument procedures we can fly. So it's all going to be visual, climbing out of here, and there's some good valleys we could pick out of here to head southbound. So we'll see what the weather looks like on our next trip, but definitely going to be a very challenging trip, I think, as well. These will be two of the most challenging days so far I think I've had. Flying in these high mountainous terrain environments is very challenging, that's for sure. So thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the trip, and remember, if you enjoyed the trip, hit the like button, and I appreciate that. And if you'd like to join us for the next leg of this trip and other videos that I provide on reviews and general flying in Microsoft Simulator, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the notifications, and then you'll know the next time we're doing a trip. So hopefully not too much longer. I know I was really busy the last little while, so it's been a while since I've done a trip, but I'll try to get the next leg of this trip to southern Pakistan in the next 4 or 5 days. So thanks for joining me. Pleasure having you on board the flight today, and hope you had a good time, and we'll see you next time. Band it out.